Football's grown into one of the financial world's most lucrative and competitive industries. The value of football clubs has risen pretty dramatically over the previous 3 decades, and entrepreneurs worldwide are now keen to participate in a market that has yet to reach its peak. With high costs and pressing demand for results on the pitch, budgeting is critical to a football club's success. Oh, hey everybody, let's do an intro thing. And it's done. Today we're going to discover how clubs actually make money. Before moving further, like the video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, all that super fun stuff. Let's get started. Football clubs who want to win undoubtedly need to examine their players' salaries, which accounts for their success. However, is that all that football is? Is a salary? Whoever puts more money on the table does have a better chance of success. This is somewhat true, particularly in the modern football era, yet we can all agree that success might be defined in various ways. If a small or mid-sized club achieves success, it'll have sufficient revenue to attract players. Successful management of talents is meant to result in success, which generates money and hence more talent. And the club establishes a virtuous cycle that continues and continues and, can you guess it, continues. While it's not simple to perform consistently well, developing a sustainable management process might easily be classified as a success when we look at the big picture. Now let's examine how football teams generate their revenue, which, again, money is important to making things go run. Yeah, that's a fact of life and the universe and everything. It varies according to the league and country, but football revenues are commonly classified into 4 categories. You got broadcasting rights, match day and ticketing, commercial activities, and the transfer market. Commercialization of television rights accounts for the lion's share of earnings and loss for the top European football clubs and leagues. Broadcasters compete in a rigorous tender procedure to win rights to broadcast European Football League games and become the competition's official right holders. Due to their involvement in domestic and international events, the clubs receive a piece of that broadcast and money, that pie. The worth of Europe's top football leagues has risen dramatically as fans worldwide follow their favorite teams, players, and competitions. Consider the Premier League, which is now atop the rankings. The establishment of the Premier League in 1992 ushered in the new era of television rights. The Premier League's launch on Sky Sports marked the advent of a subscription-based broadcasting, which is a model that will be replicated by other football leagues all over the world. The Premier League's lead contributed significantly to the league becoming the most watched and thus the most valuable league globally. In 1992, the Premier League's international television rights were valued at 40 million euros, and they're currently projected to be worth 3.83 billion euros. Small uptick in their worth there. Domestic Premier Leagues were auctioned every 3 years and are available in 6 different packages, the most expensive of which costs Sky Sports 9.3 million euros per game. 50% of UK's broadcast revenue is distributed evenly between the Premier League's 20 clubs. 25% is paid in merit payments, which is prize money based on final league table place. And 25% is paid in facility fees, which is the fees per game broadcasted. In 1992, matchday revenue accounted for 43% of the Premier League's overall revenue. Even though matchday revenue has tripled since then, the matchday share has dwindled to just 13% on average. However, due to capacity disparities, involvement in European and Cup tournaments, and corporate facilities, matchday shares can vary significantly between clubs. Tottenham Hotspur earns roughly 800,000 euros per game from food and beverage sales in their new stadium, while Arsenal earns nearly a fifth of their revenue on match days. 8 Premier League teams receive a €1 million facelift on match day. It's assessed by the revenue generated by the club's sponsors and their merchandising and other commercial activities like tours and friendly matches. Commercial revenue comprises retail sales and merchandising and really any revenue generated by third-party brands. They were introduced in the 2000s and have been essential in revolutionizing football clubs' business models, particularly successful teams with a huge fan base that can generate 30 to 50% of their revenue from marketing, thereby transforming themselves into global entertainment enterprises. The reported transfer fees paid per great players are probably the most visible sign of the absurd amount of money that's in football. Transfer costs continue to rise over time, and one of the primary reasons for requests for tougher financial controls to prevent the market from exploding. Giuseppe Savoldi's move from Bologna to Napoli was the first €1 million plus signing in 1975, and Jean-Pierre Papin's move from Marseille to AC Milan was the first 7-figure transfer 17 years later. As more money entered the game in the 90s, transfer fees skyrocketed. See, Newcastle broke the transfer record in 1996 when they signed Alan Shearer for €15 million, only for the record to be more than doubled 3 years later when Christian Vieri moved from Lazio to Inter Milan for €32 million. For 8 years, Zinedine Zidane's $46.6 million move to Real Madrid in 2001 held the record. That was until Real Madrid broke it again in the summer of 2009 with the signings of Kaká and Cristiano Ronaldo. Only 8 years later, Neymar's $198 million euro transfer from Barcelona to PSG, that transfer fee record doubled again. Yeah, so as transfer value increases, the worth of clubs increases as well, and their assets become more valuable. Most European banks are connected with the continent's financial market systems. When a team performs well and qualifies for major competitions like the Champions League, its stock price is very likely to rise. Numerous football owners are also businessmen and oversee a variety of organizations. To expand their other ventures, chairmen can harness the fame and vast numbers attracted by their club to market their business, ensuring increased exposure and profit for their primary venture. Only 4 Premier League teams have turned into a profit over the last 2 years, which are Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Norwich, when another 2 are breaking even, Aston Villa and Burnley, meaning that 80% of the teams in the league have lost money. Despite getting significantly less television revenue than the top 5 European leagues, AZ Alkmaar and Ajax of the Dutch Eredivisie were surprisingly listed among the top 10 most lucrative teams. The reality, however, is rather different for the majority of teams, which are barely profitable despite their increased earnings. Because everything is conditional on outcomes, and players are the club's most valuable asset capable of making a difference, all revenue generated by the club is essentially moved directly to players and agents' inflated salaries and transfer expenses. To develop a budget, a club begins by identifying the on-field objectives that they wish to accomplish. How to behave is to define all of the parameters, the possible revenues and costs, and isolate and control the payroll in the football market balance, between sales and purchases. This is frequently accomplished by establishing contact between the sporting director and the club's chief financial officer. According to a 2009 UEFA review, more than half of European clubs lost money in the previous year. While a small percentage were able to sustain large losses year after year due to their owners' wealth, at least 20% of clubs surveyed were believed to be in financial peril, prompting the introduction of financial fair play regulations. Only transfers, wages, amortization of transfers, financial costs, and dividends will be included against the club's earning from gate receipts, and television revenue, and advertising, merchandising, disposal of tangible fixed assets, finance, player sales, and prize money. Any funds on infrastructure in the training facilities or youth development aren't included in the FFP criteria, allowing teams to spend as much as they want on those areas without fear of being sanctioned. Clubs may get a warning or a fine, or points deduction, income withholding from a UEFA tournament, transfer embargo, or disqualification from UEFA competitions, depending on the violations of the regulations. The financial world of football is extremely complex and competitive, with the environment altering regularly. Football teams have become pretty excessively reliant on broadcasting earnings, but this just ain't enough anymore. Numerous clubs have adopted a strategy of investing in sophisticated scouting operations and the club academy to reduce their reliance on star players and begin developing or scouting prospects earlier. So in this approach, they can protect the club's financial health and long-term viability by avoiding the temptation to pursue short-term sporting success. On the other hand, the risk of failure on the pitch is just too high, and the regulation or failure to qualify for a competition, as well as a long-term decline in fan engagement, could realistically financially harm the club even more than expensive players, necessitating a balanced approach combining star players and smart recruitment. Most football teams know their fans' names and ages on the marketing and commercial side, while social media controls all of their fan data, allowing clubs to follow the breadcrumbs. Nowadays, these forward-thinking clubs should connect fans through both online and offline touchpoints, gathering and analyzing data way more intelligently to construct their own CRM and gain a deeper understanding of their audience. However, the overall environment is not bad, as the football industry's ultimate potential has not yet been realized. Investor interest in football continues to grow, in part because the revenue streams the majority of football clubs have been confined to ticket sales and television broadcasts, we'll say. But the potential is considerably greater. Football clubs seeking a competitive edge must intensify their commercial and sport management activities to progress to the next stage of the industry's evolution. Embracing technology to create an ecosystem of effective management processes and best practices that are digitally enhanced, which would unlock the value of their data and creating and distributing and monetizing their content. It'll be a game changer for clubs looking to improve their teams on the pitch and achieve sustainability, which I should think that they all want. So what are your thoughts on this, you intrepid adventurer, you? Do you think that football is one of the most money-generating sports in the world? Let us know in the comment section below. And that's all I got for you today. Please don't click out of the video. I got one more thing to ask from you, and can you guess it? Nobody's ever said this on YouTube before. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all that good stuff. I mean, if you enjoyed the channel, I mean, you know, it just kind of makes sense. Anyways, you can watch our other videos as well if you feel like it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.